our own planet is only a tiny part of the vast cosmic tapestry, a starry fabric of worlds yet untold.
For the next 90 minutes, your mind shall become engaged with minds that are very much like your own. Join Paul Kegel, Sushi, and Springwolf as they discuss various topics and people that we all have questions about. You're taking part in the Enigma Project.
Hello everyone and welcome to the Enigma Project. My name is Paul Kegel and tonight we will be participating in our June Freeform show and playing Truth or Tale. But first I would like to introduce my cohorts in this madness, Springwolf.
Hello.
And Sushi.
Here we are again.
Here we are again. Oh, sorry. How are you guys doing?
I'm bleeding to death.
She is going to die before the show is out.
Suffering from
Yeah.
the cat attack.
Cat attack.
Have you
and
ever
the littlest one.
Have you ever heard of suffering quietly? Oh, anyway. Sorry. What is
Wow.
What is the old Klingon proverb? If you die while I'm away, please do it quietly, or something like that. That's I got a friend that used to say that all the time. But that's what.
If I could be an alien, I'd want to be a Klingon. They're tough bastards.
Yeah, but their language is horrible. Pitch vigachpi vishnakdu gangia ka ka. I'm like,
All that gak
I know.
stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway,
Yeah.
so we've already
and I
digressed.
ain't eating them weird worms either.
Yeah, no. I can't even think of what it's called.
It's Gah.
Is it gach?
See?
Yeah.
Told you that gak stuff.
You're speaking Gaelic. Congratulations. You can speak
Yay.
Gaelic now.
My car speaks Gaelic.
How's that?
I'm afraid to ask, honestly.
When I tell the car to, call somebody on the phone, they respond and say that they're calling that person. And for the boy, when I say call him, they pronounce his name as if they're pronouncing it in the Gaelic version. And it's funny. They also, when I say call mom, it's called mum.
Oh, that's you've got to
Call
sit
him
on
mum.
you've got to sit on European or something.
I've got one of those FM transmitters in a car, that you connect your phone to through the Bluetooth, and but if you as soon as you turn it on, it goes in a very British accent. The Bluetooth is ready to pair.
Nice.
It cracks me up every time.
All right,
It cracks me up too.
now that we have digressed to the point of
Sorry.
craziness,
This is the freeform show. We get to talk
We
about
can talk
whatever
about
we want.
this.
paranormal, anything paranormal, generally, not cars and stuff. But anyway, just to get some housekeeping out of the way, don't forget that our blog has our most recent shows on it, and you can stay updated by going to enigmaproject.com, and you can see what shows we have coming up. You can subscribe to the calendar there, and you can keep up with what we are doing. You can also send us questions or comments from there, or you can send questions or comments to Paul at enigmaproject.com, or call the hotline at 423-521-2930. Don't forget to check out Spring's blog at springwolf.net, and please help spread the word about the show. I listened to the last show where I was going on about my name and how I say it. It's like Paul. And it's like, really? Stop. That's enough. But you can check out all that there. And if you missed last week's show, again, so did we, so you're welcome. But the one before that was Astrology Around the World, and you can find that on Spreaker, Stitcher, and EnigmaProject.com, or iTunes and various sundry other places. Next week's topic is going to be the Man in the Moon, other planetary bases, and pareidolia. And I that Sushi and I have a lot to say about pareidolia.
Yes, we
so,
do. we come across it quite a bit.
Yes, we do. So do be prepared to get a lecture on that. So, no, just kidding, sort of. But, yeah, so that's the next topic. And if you're listening live to this right now and you want to join in this madness, then go to enigmaproject.com/listen-live, and you can join in the infamous chat room which keeps changing every time we turn around.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I don't know what happened there. But you can join in the chat room. I'd like to say hello to everyone in the chat room. I'm waving at you with one finger. Guess which one it is?
Hello.
Hello. Yeah, I figured you'd like the pink one, Sushi. I thought of you
I like
as
the
soon
pink
as I
one.
saw it.
Yeah, you can change colors in the chat room now. I like it.
Yeah. But if
Are you
you're
pink? I'm pink.
I'm
Yeah.
pink.
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
Totally pink.
But if you're not familiar with our Freeform show, it's basically where we talk about whatever questions you send us, and if you don't send us questions, then we talk about whatever we want. And so, Spring, I think you had a question that was brought up that you wanted to discuss. So why don't you go ahead and go on with that?
Okie dokie.
Okay, your time
we
is
had
up.
two-
Sorry. Back to me. No, I'm kidding.
We had two questions that came into my message, my Facebook message thing, but I think we probably only have time to talk about one of them. So I'll pick.
Okay. And the
I'm
winner
scrolling back.
is...
I'm scrolling back so I can read exactly what was written. Okay, the person sent me a question and said that they read that there has been an increase in asteroids hitting Earth, and they want to know, was this prophesized by Edgar Casey, and is it true that it creates the Earth changes? Okay,
Well-
Edgar Casey, for those that don't know, was called the sleeping prophet. He would go he would go take a nap, and while he was taking a nap, he would talk about things, people, answer questions. Today we would call it he was channeling in a trance.
Right.
And he was like the first one to do this, or
No, he wasn't really the first one, but he's the first one that became popularized and
Oh.
accepted for doing it. And I'm not really 100% sure why he was accepted so readily. It was back in the 40s and the 50s. He was a very Christian man, which might have a lot to do with his acceptance. But anyway, people would write him letters and ask him questions, and he would answer those questions. And his secretary would write down everything that he said. So there's a place in Virginia Beach called the Edgar Casey Institute. I think it's called Institute. I think the big global name is the Association of Research and Enlightenment. It's really a neat place. They have volumes and volumes and volumes of all of his channelings written down, and the people that he did the channelings for, they've assigned a number to the person to keep their identity quiet. But there's a list somewhere of famous people, even a president, that contacted him and asked him things. One of the things that he supposedly channeled was about how the earth is going to change, that the seas are going to rise. The Association of Research and Enlightenment is built on a hill at Virginia Beach. And he said it needed to be built up there because when the earth changes come, everything between that point and the ocean is going to be flooded, which is going to be really bad for Virginia Beach because it covers the entire boardwalk, and all of the hotels that are there now supposedly are going to be underwater when the earth changes come, according to Casey. So I went looking up to see if he said something about asteroids and the earth changes, and I couldn't find anything.
So then
But
the
he's
answer
not
would
the
be
only-
no.
He's not the only famous person that I know that has done channelings and is considered a prophet the way he was. So have you guys heard of any people like this that are considered prophets?
Not that have talked about, changes with asteroids. None of that. But I remember back in the day when I first got into paganism and Wicca and all that there was a big New Age movement that we were all moving towards a change in consciousness, and and it's still kind of going on. But we've done shows on this where I've discussed the fact that I don't feel like we're moving towards enlightenment. I feel like we're moving towards darkness because the human race treats each other so poorly. But Sushi, have you heard about this?
No, this is interesting. I haven't heard, and I've been sitting here Googling, looking to see if it's true that we have been hit by more asteroids or not.
Well,
I did find Nature published a study in 2013 where they recalculated the estimate of asteroids that were going to hit the Earth, and it was like 10 times worse than they thought. But that, I don't think that means that it's actually increased. So I don't know. I'm still Googling.
Well, there was a lady that, back to what you were talking about, Paul, when the New Age stuff first started coming out. That was like in the 1980s. One of the people that I kept hearing about, besides Edgar Casey, was a lady named Elizabeth Clare Prophet. She is described as an American New Age minister. And she wrote several books and would talk about the information she got from channeling, which is what made her a prophet. And she talked about earth changes. But I don't remember anything she said that associated them with asteroids.
Yeah, I've never heard, to my knowledge, anything about asteroids. Almost an asteroids and Earth changes.
Asteroids.
Now, I know that every season, well, maybe not every season, but like in certain seasons, we move through certain asteroid belts or through certain asteroid, I guess it'd be called a belt, where we have the Leonid meteor showers and
yeah.
And there's another one. I can't remember what it's not Gemini. It's I can't remember. But several years ago, the Leonid was so powerful that you could sit outside. We actually sat out. It was about a decade ago. We sat outside, and there were so many meteorites that it looked like sometimes it was raining meteors.
It was gorgeous.
Yeah,
I remember that.
And there was one that we were out in a big field where people would hang glide, and there was one that hit, and it was so bright for so long that it lit up the area like daylight. Literally, you could see the blue sky and everything.
Yeah, I was driving to find a good spot to park out in the out in the country, because I live smack in the city. You got to go out of town if you want to see anything. So I was driving, and a giant green fireball just overtook my car. It was the craziest thing.
Oh my God! Did you die?
No, I mean, it was just like way over to the right of me as I was driving north, and just amazing. I was like, I've never seen anything like that. It was incredible.
Yeah, the Leonid meteor shower that year was awesome. I mean, it lit up the sky literally for like 5 seconds it was daylight again. I could see trees, blue sky, and thankfully it was behind us or I would have been blinded. But it was so crazy because like it lit up everything. Like I could see the mountains in the far distance. It was so bright. It like didn't just light up part of it. It's like you could see everything for like 5 seconds. I was like, oh my God, the sun is out. And then it was gone again and you were almost blind because it was so dark. But it was awesome. But,
well, there's a site called SOTT. What does that stand for? That's a good question.
Son of the... Well, I don't know.
No. It's got a name. Sign of the Times. They're supposed to be like an online newspaper kind of a thing. So it's signofthetimes.net, SOTT.net. In their science and technology section, on June the 7th of this year, they have an article about a major increase in asteroid activity sees MIT astronomers upgrade solar system from stable to dynamic.
Ooh. Di-frickin-namic.
Evidently, that must be important. See, previously, scientists believed that asteroids were static and remained near the sun. However, observations in the last decade have revealed that asteroids show up in unexpected places in space, and that there has been an increase in the last 5 to 10 years in asteroids coming into Earth's atmosphere. And then they point to, the one in Russia, There have been several here in the United States this year. And then I thought this was interesting. I didn't even know this one existed. There evidently is an American meteor society that tracks reports of asteroids and meteors that are seen from the ground. And there have been a lot here in the United States just in the last couple months.
Yeah.
AMSmeteors.org.
I wonder why they were asking about all of that, because does it really matter? I mean, I've not noticed asteroids picking up any, so
I don't know. I think if you think about some of the really, we've probably had asteroids and meteor showers for centuries, but how many times have now that everybody's got a camera with their phone, we've got these pictures, the fireball over Arizona, the huge fireball over the northeastern United States. AMS received nearly 700 reports about the fireball over the northeastern portion of the United States on May 17th, 2016. I didn't hear about that one.
Yeah, I didn't either.
It was seen from Maine, witnessed in Vermont, New Hampshire, New Jersey, Massachusetts, New York, Rhode Island, Pennsylvania, Connecticut, Ontario, Canada, Quebec, Canada. Well, that's why I didn't hear about it. You don't hear anything about Virginia, Tennessee, do you?
No.
I guess we didn't get to see it.
We're always left out. We're like the stepchildren of the United States.
Here in the South.
An astrological phenomenon, I guess. But
there you go.
All right. So, do you anything else to say on this? Because
well, I think maybe the reason that this has come up is because we've had, more reports about it because there's more people recording it. You don't just have somebody calling the local police department saying, some spaceship is flying into our Earth's atmosphere. We've got people posting pictures so they have evidence
I've
of
seen
what
that
they
movie.
saw. Right. So social media has increased the reporting, and I think that's why it probably seems like we have more meteors. And, the more we hear about people talking about the ice age that killed the dinosaurs occurred from a meteor, I think people are just trying to connect the two.
Well, NASA is planning, and they're watching, and I'm not scared.
Well,
I'm
yeah.
not.
NASA may be planning and watching, but they can only watch like 5% of the sky.
Yeah. They've there was one big one that came in was it 300,000 miles or something? I mean, it was really close.
Yeah. It went between us and the moon.
Did it?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't remember that.
And we didn't even see it or notice it, so there you go.
Yeah, there you go.
Until 2 days before it came. Yeah.
Well, I mean, I don't even remember seeing it or hearing it. I heard something about it, but I don't remember seeing it or noticing it in the night sky. But then again, I'm not outside a lot at night. I'm usually either doing this show or riding or something.
What was the Bruce Willis movie where they had to go up and
oh, that was a good movie. I like that movie.
What was that?
There were two of them. One of them was called something, and one of them was called something else. So I hope they cleared everything up.
Yeah.
Wasn't one of them called Sudden Impact?
Deep Impact, Sudden Impact.
Deep Impact and something else. Yeah. So there you go.
Yeah, there you go.
I like the Willis one. I thought that one
I
was
did too.
Yeah.
Fun.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. So anyway, I think it's,
I don't know.
I think
Armageddon. That was the other one.
Armageddon.
Thank you, Evil.
That was the Bruce Willis one.
That's it.
Yeah. Anyway, I think that it just seems like there's more being reported because everybody's got a camera on their phone, and
that makes sense.
That makes sense.
Yeah. And because we can report everything, including Bigfoot, even when we fake it. So I'm not bitter.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So since this is our freeform show, and we talk about whatever we want, I've got several questions that that I kind of think up while I'm home alone and not riding when I should be, that I wanted to ask, just depending on when we get to them. But one of the questions that I thought of was based on a question that one of our listeners, Jonathan, sent in and said, if one part of the paranormal could be proven real, what would you want it to be? And And the question that I thought of is, what if none of the paranormal is real? What if the paranormal is not real at all? There are no aliens. There are no ghosts.
Welcome to my world.
Then why do you do this? That's what I've always wondered.
I'm teasing.
I know, but you don't believe.
I want to know if it's real or not. But what if it turns out that it's not real? Well, we have music and rainbows and
they aren't real either if the paranormal's not real. I don't want to believe in any of it.
Especially since rainbows come from, unicorn farts.
Right.
But unicorns aren't real, so that's not true. No, but, what if the paranormal, let's say that a scientist out there could prove beyond a shadow of a doubt that the paranormal is not real. What then?
I'm sure we'll come up with something else.
Yeah.
That's just human nature, is to
I think if you ask a couple
dream
of scientists, they tell you beyond a shadow of a doubt, they know it's not real. And if you ask them, where's the evidence, they turn it around on you and say, well, is your evidence that it is real?
No, I'm saying, what if they had evidence that it was not? Like somehow a paranormal event took place and they could bring a machine in and turn it on, and it showed you that it was nothing more than dust motes flying through the air and you thought it was a ghost. Or, they showed the infrasound was causing hallucinations and they could replicate it in a lab anytime they wanted. They turned infrasound on and all of a sudden you saw ghosts and you thought things were moving, and then you realize that none of it's real. What would that do to not just shows like this, but what do you think it would do to our societies? Would it change us? Would it...
Well, see, if paranormal's not true, then God can't be true either, right?
I think that's a big jump in logic. But okay.
No,
if you proved beyond a shadow of a doubt that it wasn't real, then you're screwing up everything that I believe in on a spiritual level. So if you can do that to me, as a pagan, as a metaphysical minister, then why wouldn't you be able to do the same thing for the concept of quote unquote God?
Yeah.
So do you really think
that would change a lot, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
We wouldn't be fighting so much.
You have a higher standard. You think of the human race in a higher standard than I do, because I think most of them are idiots.
We'll find something else to fight over.
That's true.
Not God.
Your eyes are green. I don't like you.
The line from MIB, a person is smart, people are stupid.
Stupid,
yep.
Yeah.
I believe that. So,
I think so.
So do you really think that if the paranormal was proven beyond a shadow of doubt to not be real, that means God does not exist?
I don't know. You really screw up everything that I already believe in on a spiritual level. And if I believe that, to me, what the divine is everything seen and unseen throughout the divine universe.
Well, but if
that includes you and me and everything. So if that spiritual energy, if that energy doesn't exist, then there's nothing. I don't want to believe in nothing.
Just because ghosts and aliens don't exist doesn't mean God's not out there.
But God technically is the same kind of energy that a ghost is, just on a different level.
Maybe, but we've not proven that one way or the other. I mean, we're jumping to conclusions and making suppositions that we have no proof for. In
both arguments.
Well, true.
For and against.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I'm playing devil's advocate here.
That's okay.
But he doesn't exist. No, but I'm playing devil's advocate here and saying, because I'd never thought of it like that, honestly, just because someone could prove that ghosts do not exist and that we are seeing, let's say, a recorded event that replays at a certain time, and that there's nothing intelligent behind it, then to me that doesn't mean God's not real. It just means that we've just pulled back one layer of misunderstanding that we've had in our lives, and that now we see it for what it truly is, and that there's still the mystery of God out there.
Maybe that depends on how you define a ghost. What is a ghost? And how you define God. What is God?
True.
Are you talking about an omnipotent being that is some kind of energy outside yourself, as in, Yahweh? Are you talking about God as a consciousness? You and I am not the goddess, you are not the god, but you and I in all things seen and unseen make up the divine consciousness. Is consciousness something that you can see and feel?
No. I mean, you might be able to feel it, but I don't think you can see it. I think that, but see, here's, I guess, kind of the angle that I'm working at it from, is that with schizophrenics, they honestly believe that what they are seeing is real. To them, what was the movie with the guy who was very intelligent and he thought that he was
involved in a CIA plot.
Yes, him.
Yes, I know what
he's
you're
a
talking
real
about.
person. And when someone walks up to him to speak to him as a professor, he has to have somebody that he knows is real confirm that that person is real so that he knows he's not imagining them. Because to him, they are 100% walking, breathing reality. What if the paranormal is like that to some of us? That we are having delusions, that we are somehow, our brain is on the fritz somehow, and we're making ourselves see and experience these things. And I'm not saying that's true. I'm just saying, what if? What if they can put a cap on your head and all of a sudden you see things clearly the way other people do? Beautiful mind. Thank you, Tabitha. Or are you saying that mine is beautiful?
Thank goodness, I was looking for it.
Because it is. Thank you. We know. But no, but if they could put it, like, how the God helmet or whatever makes you sense the divine and feel the paranormal. What if they put something on your head that made you feel none of it, and you knew that it was real, that you weren't hallucinating anymore, you weren't having delusions, that you were 100% in your right mind in the moment, and that was scientifically proven. My screen just went blank. And, I'm just kind of working from the standpoint of they somehow scientifically prove this, that we're, not seeing what we think we are, I guess.
Yeah, well, Gary, Evil in the chat room kind of asked a question. Even worse, what if we're the ones that are the delusion?
That would make a lot of sense. But Tabitha in the chat room said, all we experience is not reality. It's an interpretation. So we are all on the continuum for delusion to some extent. That I believe. Nice. Some people are more delusional than others. I won't name names. Sushi. But, yeah.
That just makes my brain hurt.
It does me too. Well, it's like the whole holographic universe crap. That none of this is real, that it's all an illusion. It's all a, what do they call it? A construct of some sort. Makes my head hurt, and it makes me want to not do it anymore. But, my mom and I had this conversation yesterday where she said, do you ever sit alone at home and think you're the only person that's real and everything else is just imagined? And I'm like, that's how I live my life. What are you talking about? But how I know that's not true is because when I see you guys in real life, you don't conform to my standards. If I see Sushi in real life, she doesn't all of a sudden start believing in the paranormal because I do. She is independent of me. Her intelligence is independent of mine. So therefore, she's got to be real. Unless she's a computer simulation construct, simulacrum, if you will. But I don't believe that. I believe she is a walking entity with an intelligence. I use that very loosely. Yeah, I would say very
put
loosely.
Air quotes around that.
Yeah, air quotes. No, I'm just kidding. But, I do believe that you are a walking, intelligent being, regardless of what my perception of you is. Now, one thing that I used to wonder when I was a kid was, does the color of your eyes affect the colors that you actually see? Like, my eyes are blue. My eyes are blue. So to me, the color that I've been told is green looks green to me, but might look red to somebody with brown eyes.
I've always wondered what it would be like to go in someone else's head and see the world as they see it. it's like, is it the same colors really?
Right.
Of what I'm calling blue, is that what you call blue?
Right. And like colorblind people, because they
Yeah.
don't see colors the same way as regular people do. Well, I say regular people, non-colorblind people. We're all regular people, but
Well, I don't know about that. I know a colorblind person, and he's not regular.
don't talk about Gary that way. No, I know who you're talking about, actually. Never mind. But, yeah, I've often wondered, this was something I thought of when I was like 12 years old. I was like, I wonder if what I see is green. You've been told it's green, but to you it looks red. So, like, the trees are red, the grass is red, your blood is green, and you've been told
I used to
it's
think
red.
about that too,
So,
because since I have green eyes and they're a light green, I used
oh,
to
that
when
means
I
you're
was
a
younger.
freak.
Yeah, when I was younger, I could see at nighttime better than any of my friends that had dark-colored eyes. And I wondered if that ability to see better in low light affected the way you saw in the daytime, because there's too much light.
It's very possible.
So when I see yellow, am I seeing the same yellow as you? And I decided I don't think so. I think eye color has effect on how we see because of how much light comes into our eyes.
Well, I think they've proven that, haven't they? Because
I don't know. I mean, I know like light-eyed people such as myself could have real troubles in bright sun. I wear sunglasses
right,
all the time.
I'm very
period,
sun sensitive
because it hurts.
Yep.
Yes,
It is
it does.
painful.
I'm very
So
sun
I
sensitive
know
with blue
that.
eyes.
So I don't know.
Well, see, it makes me think if you and I were to stand next to each other and see something that was a yellow sign, depending on how much light we could take, I bet the color yellow for me would be almost near white. So it would be a very light colored yellow. Whereas if you had brown eyes, it might be a more deeper gold yellow.
Well,
Yeah.
and that would explain why people like certain colors. We used to have a teacher. She was our librarian when we were in junior high or something like that. That she wore the most garish outfits. I mean, like baby blue with hot pink and pumpkin orange, and then her makeup would match. And we're like, I'm not kidding.
That was an 80s thing.
No, even in the 80s, she was garish. And we were like, does she not see herself in the mirror? So I guess that's one of the things that made me start thinking about how people see different colors. Chartreuse. Sadly, chartreuse is not only a color that women can see. But, that made me think about people who see different colors. To her, she may have been wearing toned down colors, and everybody else was garish. Whereas, us looking at her, we're like, oh my God, clown, what are you wearing? She did. She looked like a prostitute clown that, whatever. Anyway.
Y'all remember the conversation about the dress on the internet?
Yes.
Yes.
And how people saw it completely different colors?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so that was one of the things that always made me wonder about that. But going back to something that you said, Sushi, I've often wanted to see myself through someone else's eyes to see what their perception of me was versus what my perception of me is. Because when I see me, I'm seeing a reverse reflection in the mirror.
Mm-hmm.
So what would I look like to someone seeing me straight on like I see you?
Right.
How gorgeous would I be from your standpoint? Because, let's face it, this much beauty cannot be contained.
I think there might be some truth to that, and
Thank you.
might
I am
joke about it.
beautiful.
But hear me out. I think when you meet somebody that you are in love with, I think their features in their face appeal to you in such a way that you think they are truly gorgeous. More so than, just beautiful. The person standing next to you thinks, yeah, they're cute. But to you, they are more than cute.
Right.
And I think that's got a lot to do with how you perceive them because you might be in love with them.
Oh my God, he put a picture of my librarian in the chat room. It's Mimi from.
Oh, Drew Carey's show.
Thank you. Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, it's very possible, and it could be our perception. You know, perception is a major thing in our lives. It's like I've said before, if you walk into a room and Spring, you see me punch Sushi in the face, your perception is that I'm abusing and hurting her, when in fact she may have pulled a knife and tried to stab somebody and I was trying to stop her. So your perception can be a brief moment in time where you think you have all the facts and you don't. And I think that that's a big problem with a lot of humanity, is that they have a small inkling of a fact and they run with it without getting any other additional facts. And I'm not going to name any specific religion, Christianity. And they run with it, Christianity, where they don't know everything. I'm talking about Christianity. And they think they know it all. No, I'm just kidding. But, you know, that...
No, you're not.
I'm slightly kidding to make a point. You know, I don't believe any religion is right. I don't believe any of them are. But I do think each of them have a kernel of truth that leads us to a larger vision of the divine, basically. Like, I don't even believe that paganism and Wicca is 100% the answer. I just know that people can do things with their minds if they try. You know, you don't believe me, try positive affirmations for a month, and I guarantee you your life will change if you do it right. And, like, I know when I got into paganism, I was a big, oh, woe is me, everything is somebody else's fault. My mother didn't do this, my father didn't do that, and my grandparents didn't do that. It's all their fault. And then when I get into paganism, I went, nope, you know what? Today is my fault because I might have had this, or this happen to me, but what I do today is on me. And I changed. And my mom even, we got into it about something. I said, well, you know, that's your opinion of the situation. And I let it go. And she was like, that's it? That's all you're going to say? She's like, something about you has changed. I don't know what it is, but you are different now. And I was like, you're right. You know, I've started taking responsibility for my own actions instead of saying the devil made me do it, or so-and-so did this to me. I didn't get that promotion because of so-and-so. No, I didn't get that promotion because I didn't work hard enough. Or, you know.
Evil says, rest easy, Paul. Since you're all figments of my imagination, it's all my fault.
If that were true, Evil, I would drive to Virginia or wherever you are right now and slap you right in the mouth.
There you go.
So that's how I know it's not real. But no, I just, some of the stuff that have always occurred to me, I don't believe any of you are Fig Newtons of my imagination. I don't believe any of you were constructed in my own mind, because if you were, let's just say things would be completely different than what they are.
Hey, I just have a favor to ask.
Okay.
Give me my wings.
Okay, poof, you've got wings. Drink some Red Bull. Apparently it gives you wings.
There you go.
But I mean, I just don't believe that whole crap that, oh, I looked away from the wall, it doesn't exist anymore because I'm not looking. How arrogant do you have to be to believe that that wall's not there anymore just because you aren't looking at it?
Now, that's an interesting thing to say. I was watching Bill Maher because Dr. Tyson was on.
Love him.
I don't know how they got on the topic, but there was a guy who discovered molecularly, whatever the word would be, that matter is very closely related together, but it's not a solid. Something that shamans have said for ages and ages. There is nothing in this world that is a solid. That's why you have the ability to walk through a wall.
Yeah, show me.
If you know, right, if you know that there's space in between the molecules of a wall, you should be able to put your hand through it without damaging your hand or the wall.
Right, because there are spaces between the molecules of your hand and molecules of the wall. I get what they're saying, but my thing is, show me. Don't run your mouth. Don't talk about theory. Walk through that damn wall and shut up.
The physicist that discovered this believed it so heartily that he was afraid to walk across the floor in his room because he was afraid he was going to fall through the floor.
And I guarantee you he never did.
Yeah,
I think
he never
that's
did.
I think that's more of a brain disorder too. I think that becomes a phobia at that point. But I get what they're saying, and Evil in the chat room said there's more gap by far than matter, and I get that. But everything is so dense and so tightly packed that you can't go through it. I'm sure there are probably some people that might have the ability to, if they honestly tried, because I do believe that you can change things with your mind, and I do believe that your belief has a strong effect on the things around you. You know, that's what magic is. Mm-hmm. But I don't believe that, you know, if that were true, hundreds of people would be able to walk through walls. It wouldn't be something where you're saying, "No, reality's not real. You can walk through a wall if you want. Do it and shut your mouth." You know,
see, here's
can.
where I think, you know, here's where I think the wisdom comes into play. People say, you know, one of the biggest questions I always get from people is, do you have the ability to move objects with your mind? And
yes,
I tell them,
I pick it up with my hand.
While I believe that it's possible that our mind has the power to move matter, I don't believe that anyone alive on this planet today has that kind of control over their mind to successfully do it.
Yeah, I can see that.
And that if you could, you would not be the type of person that would be on the local television show seeing if you can pick up $1 million because you can move something with your mind.
Right.
And I think that's the biggest thing. If you're someone who can do something like that, you're not someone who feels the need to brag because you have grown beyond that point.
Right. So, just a funny thing, because you mentioned it. Have you guys seen Zoolander 2?
Not yet.
Never even saw Zoolander 1.
It's on my radar.
It is dumb as you
it
could
is.
possibly imagine it's going to be. Maybe even more so. But anyway, there's a part where Neil deGrasse Tyson is on it, and they say, you know, somebody stands up and goes, "Who am I?" And then the other guy goes, "Who am I?" And Neil deGrasse Tyson stands up and goes, "Who am I?" And he goes, "Neil deGrasse Tyson, do you wonder who you are too?" And he says something, and they ask him something, and he goes, "I'm Neil deGrasse Tyson, bitch." And just the way he says it is so funny.
I love it when he cusses.
It is
funny.
worth seeing the whole movie just for that one scene alone. And
I love it when he's on Bill Maher because he doesn't hold back.
No, he doesn't.
I love him. I would love to have him on this show. I would love to just sit down and talk to him about anything. I don't care. We could talk about whatever he wanted, and
to
I
be
would
quite
be
honest,
happy.
I've had dreams about talking to him about metaphysical concepts. Specifically, just because you're a scientist and you believe blah 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 doesn't mean that I can't talk to a spirit. I mean, you're always asking me to prove that I'm talking to a spirit, and I can sit down and tell you a whole bunch of things, but that's not going to change your attitude. Those are the kinds of conversations I want to have with him.
Yes. Well, I mean, people believe what they want to believe. You know, when I asked the question about what if the paranormal had been proven to be irrevocably wrong, that it does not exist, people would still believe it. You know, because we believe what we want to believe a lot of times, regardless of facts. You know, people believe the earth was flat for how many centuries or decades or days or whatever.
Right. One of
and
my
there are
favorite
still people that believe
like
this
that,
stuff.
Right. One of my favorite arguments for things like that is, and I actually got it from Evil. Think about what it is that we know today that is absolutely, positively factual. Think about how we look at things from 100 years ago that we thought were true and factual that today we know are hilariously wrong. Think about what it is 100 years from now. Those things that we believe are absolutely true today, how much are they going to change 100 years from now?
Right.
What we believe is fact today is all based on what it is that we know, and there's an awful lot that we don't know.
I agree. Completely.
Sure.
But people believe the weirdest things. You know, there are people that believe the earth is only so many years old because they went back and calculated it according to the Bible. And since the Bible is infallible, wrong. We could do a whole show on how that's wrong. They believe that the Bible is infallible, and so therefore the world is only a couple of 100,000 years old, not billions. Even though scientifically they can prove that the world is billions of years old, there are idiots out there.
Lived with dinosaurs.
Right. So I don't know. I mean, people believe that dinosaurs aren't real. I heard a theory that dinosaurs aren't real, that the devil planted those bones in the ground to confuse real Christians.
Oh my
and I'm
stars.
like, you didn't need that to confuse you. Trust me. Whatever. I've been bragging on Christianity bad today, haven't I?
I tell you what.
And I don't really mean to. It's just funny to me. I'm just being funny, but mostly. There's like 1% truth in all the things that I'm saying. But yeah, I don't know. It just, stranger things have happened, I suppose. Normally in my life, to me, on any day that ends in Y, but still. So anything else we want to say on this before we move on to Truth or Tale? Because we're going to run out of time if we're not really careful.
I don't know. I'd be disappointed if, in a way, if the paranormal got absolutely proven to be false.
I would be very confused. I'd wonder what threw me across the room when I was a kid.
Yeah.
Well, see, I think science has already proven that it can be real,
Right.
because they've already proven that energy cannot die. Energy fades, it changes form, and it comes back.
Right.
And a lot of people like me believe that's proof of reincarnation. We don't just die and that's it. We don't just go into a hole in the ground and that's it.
Right.
That energy has to go somewhere. It doesn't die.
It multiplies. Oh wait, no.
Well, actually, it could multiply, because when you talk to people about we're getting off topic, but when you talk to people about reincarnation, they automatically assume that Earth is the only place where life exists,
or that this is the only reality, that there aren't other dimensions or layers, or although that gives me a headache to think about, but I do believe that there are different forms of existence that we can't always see, and that maybe are on different frequencies or whatever. So yeah.
Well, M theory already says there's multiple dimensions.
Yeah, but it's still theory. That's the key word. There's theory. When it becomes in fact, then we can discuss how much my head is exploding from the idea. But yeah, it does give me a headache to think about. But we are going to move on to Truth or Tale, and if you're not familiar with this game, it's basically where I have 3 stories that I'm going to read, and you have to decide if they're crazy enough to be true or just so stupid that I made it up. And honestly, sometimes you can't tell the difference. So number 1, in China... No, I'm just kidding. I'm totally kidding.
Got me.
All right. So number 1, this is not in China, by the way. BT dubs, as I like to say. Grave diggers will compete in the first ever grave digging competition. Truth or Tale? Grave diggers will be competing in the first ever grave digging competition. Truth or Tale? And when I typed it out, I typed completion. But it's competition.
Competition.
I'm going to say true, because people like to compete in everything.
That's weird, but true.
I agree. Why not?
Okay.
True.
And Evil says true. That is the truth.
Sunday, 3 a.m. ESPN.
I don't doubt it at all. Grave diggers from around the country to demonstrate their skills in Hungary's first national grave digging competition. 36 Hungarian gravediggers gathered in a cemetery in the city of Debrecen on Friday in a race to the bottom. They worked in teams of 2 and were allowed to use tools such as shovels, rakes, and pickaxes. Okay, hold up just a second. So let's say you're doing a grave digging competition and not allowed to use tools. What?
Why would you not? Yeah.
Anyway.
Great. Okay.
Anyway, they use these.
But you can't use a backhoe.
What'd you call me? Oh, hell no. Hold my tooth, son. No, but they used these things to see who could dig the better grave. Would it be the best grave, considering there were more than just 2 graves dug? Anyway, the rules are pretty easy. Dig a hole to regulation size, 2 feet 7 in wide. This must be written by somebody who doesn't speak English. Dig a hole to regulation size, a 2 foot 7 in wide inch. I give up. 6 foot 6 inches long and 5 foot 3 inches deep. Graves were judged on speed and appearance. Where would you like to be buried? The competition is intended to bring respect and recognition to a dwindling profession in hopes of attracting new blood to a career in grave digging. Graves in crowded cemeteries where machinery cannot fit still need to be dug by hand, and the increasing number of cremations as well as an unwillingness to do hard labor is burying the profession. Get it? Burying. It is becoming steadily more difficult to find replacements for retiring employees. Really? Aren't there Mexicans where you live? Oh, I'm going to hell.
That out loud, dude.
I'm totally kidding, sort of. The winning team was a pair of local gravediggers from Debrecen. Next, they will face teams from Poland, Slovakia, and the Czech Republic in the regional finals. Good thing it's not Mexico. Yeah, I'm totally kidding. I'm being funny because I'm in a semi-good mood. If you ruin it for me, I will cut you. All right. So number 2, Dr. Heimlich, the man who invented the Heimlich maneuver, has for the first time used it to save someone's life. Truth or tale? Dr. Heimlich in China. No. The man who invented the Heimlich maneuver has for the first time used it to save someone's life. Truth or tale?
I'm going to say true.
I guess you don't get that opportunity to use it so often, but true.
Okay.
I'm going true. Yeah.
That is the truth. You would think if he invented this maneuver that he would have tested it out somewhere first. Instead of just going, hey, try this, it'll work. The man who invented the anti-choking technique has for the first time used it himself to save someone. One of the most simple and effective first aid techniques ever invented, the Heimlich maneuver, involves performing abdominal thrusts on a choke victim to dislodge the obstruction. Despite having demonstrated the method numerous times throughout his life, the man himself, Dr. Henry Heimlich, had never actually used it to save someone's life. That is, until now. Good thing he didn't get it wrong. That'd been embarrassing. The 96-year-old had been having dinner at the Dupree House retirement home in Cincinnati when he realized that a woman sitting at the table appeared to be having trouble breathing. She had a skin color that was no longer pink, he said. Her mouth was puffed up and her lips were out. Though I invented the Heimlich maneuver, I'd never been called on to do it before. Without a moment's pause, Heimlich stood up and used his trademark technique. I did 3 times, and a piece of meat with a bone in it came flying out of her mouth, he said. So much I could say there. Thanks to his efforts, the woman went on to make a full recovery. Just the fact that a 96-year-old man could perform that is impressive, said son Phil Heimlich.
Wow.
Yeah, I would not want him to be 96 years old and just then trying out his Heimlich maneuver. I would think that he would have, choked his wife or something for science and tried it out. I mean, for heaven's sakes. I'm in rare form today. All right. So, number 3. A rare condition known as the walking corpse syndrome makes people think they are dead. Truth or tale? A rare condition known as the walking corpse syndrome makes people think that they are dead. Truth or tale? Tater in the chat room said, talking about the Heimlich maneuver, they both broke their hips, however. And then Evil said, holy crap, it worked. Who knew? I want everyone to remain calm. I shall now perform the me maneuver.
Me maneuver.
It's the meme. That's what he said.
Yeah. Okay, so a rare condition known as a walking corpse syndrome makes people think they are dead. Truth or tale?
Gosh, you've been on a roll here. I'm going to go true again.
Yeah, I'm going to go true, too.
Okay. All right. And as far as walking corpse syndrome, Evil says it can be cured with coffee. Okay. So that is...
That's me every damn morning.
I know, me too. That is... the truth. A rare condition...
people.
A rare condition called walking corpse syndrome leaves sufferers feeling as though they are zombies. First described by French neurologist Jules Cotard in 1880, the condition leaves patients with delusional beliefs ranging from having missing internal organs to being clinically dead. One of the earliest known sufferers of the condition was the patient known as Mademoiselle X, who complained that she was missing several parts of her body.
Patient X, I'm sorry.
I know. Mademoiselle X, who complained that she was missing several parts of her body, including her brain and stomach. Believing herself to be eternally damned, she eventually ended up insisting that, given that she had no stomach, she no longer needed to eat, and subsequently died of starvation. Perhaps she was the world's first supermodel. Perhaps the best-known contemporary case of walking corpse syndrome is that of a man known only as Graham, who for 9 years has lived with the belief that he no longer has a brain or a head. Speaking recently about his condition... okay, hold up.
How does he?
You ain't got no brain. You ain't got no head. But you speaking. I know. Okay. Speaking recently about his condition, he described how he had stopped smoking or engaging in social activities because being dead, he didn't think there was any point. Okay, speaking recently about his condition, he said, that's my official interpretation. I didn't want to face people, he said.
Not laugh at this man's tragedy.
I'm not. I'm laughing at me being an idiot. I didn't want to face people, he said. Get it? Face people. There was no point. I didn't feel pleasure in anything. I used to idolize. I can't read either. Idolize my car, but I didn't go near it. All the things I was interested in went away. He must have gotten married. A brain scan later revealed abnormalities. I've been analyzing PET scans for 15 years. What has this animal got to do with it? And I've never seen anyone who was on his feet who was interacting with people with such an abnormal scan result, said neurologist Stephen Lowry. Graham's brain function resembled that of someone during anesthesia or sleep. Seeing this pattern in someone who is awake is quite unique to my knowledge. Now, I'll be honest with you. Some of these brain disorders like this scare me because could you imagine having something like this wrong where one day, you don't have a head, you're dead. You don't think you're alive anymore. And there's really nothing you can do about it because your brain is just kind of, something is turned off or quit working or something. And it's just like, you're no longer part of the human race. It just scares me that that could happen and that it does happen to people. But unfortunately, we are at a time.
Say that the patient was Dracula, but you know.
There you go. Yeah, I don't know. That's so weird to me. But anyway, that's going to wrap it up for this episode of the Enigma Project. Please join us next Monday when our topic is going to be the Man in the Moon, Other Planetary Faces, and Pareidolia. We will see you all next Monday. Have a great night and a great rest of the week. Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye. So long.
All right, we are